Did it work? Looks like I'm up.
Mine still says waiting.
It says live.
Watching. Oh, I think it is working now. Yay! There we are.
Are we up? Okay. Don't know what that was all about, but hey, we're here. We got a little bit of lag. You might want to turn the volume down on that there. That's going to get awkward. All right. So, I hope your eyes are better than mine. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Allison. We love you all. Yeah, so we're doing another live event here. Sorry, we had a little bit of some technical difficulties there. We're trying to do as much video as possible to keep yourselves busy and active and everything, and just feed you guys as much information as we possibly can, since we don't get a chance to see you guys in our classes anymore, at least for the short term. We want to keep everybody's minds active, keep ours active, and just keep doing what we do and keep improving. So anything we can do to help, please let us know, even if it's just discussion. But I wanted to start with, and we can kind of go whatever direction we go, but I wanted to start with something that I showed in a video yesterday to a video for our students, which was a guard break. One of my junior students has been having difficulty. He's been a student for a long time. He's been having difficulty breaking the guard with more experienced players or bigger, taller players. So I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see that guard break?
The knee in the middle.
Yes, the knee in the middle. Okay, so the question was, I'll demonstrate it, and then I'll have her do it, because obviously I have the longer legs. But let me start on the top here like this, okay? The question was, and this is an old school guard break. We start here with sort of this grip to kind of stay in the center to prevent them from sitting up. So my hand is kind of right there, right below the sternum. This hand starts on the belt. I have a good posture, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this knee. I'm going to come here like this, put the other knee in the middle, and then move my hips back. Come here, lock the arms out, and then arch to kind of move away. Now the question was, from Dustin, are you off base when you do that? Okay? Now, here's the deal. It's how you do it. That first movement is important, okay? I'm gonna have her demonstrate for a second, and we'll have her do it wrong once, and then I'll kind of show you where you can be off base, but how to correct it. So the first movement, if you look at her from this position here, okay, so if you have a hold of the belt here like this, if she moves this knee out, okay, right now she's still pretty centered in her base. Now she moves this knee in. Now look at where her weight is now, okay? Now, here's the most common problem. Let's rewind, okay? The most common problem here is when people start with a good wide base here with their knees, and they kind of bring this knee in first. That's where she's off base, okay? So if you take a look at this position, the first thing, without the person there, the first thing you're doing is moving this point of base, okay? Anytime we're on the floor, okay, we talk about base a lot in Jiu-Jitsu, okay? So if you want to stay on the top, what you do, you need to be able to center yourself according to the points of base that you have, okay? You want to have at least 3. When you're on the ground, you want to have at least 3 points of base. 4 is better, okay? Sometimes you can even use your head as the 5th one, but typically you're going to have at least 3 points of base. What you want is you want your weight, your body weight, as low and as centered among those 3 points of base as possible. That way you're going to be more stable. So if I do this, I'm very typical this direction. But if I do this, now you see, all right, my base is, my weight is still kind of centered among those 3 points of base. So 1, 2, 3. Now when I move this in, I'm moving this one back so I can put stress on the legs, but I'm still in base. So I hope that makes sense. Now when you're in your posture, let's start in the guard here. We'll do it from this angle. The important part here, okay, and I kind of picked this up a little bit from training with, I had the opportunity to do my first seminar with Hickson. First time I got a chance to train with Hickson, I was already black belt. But he went over some very, very basic things, and this was transformative for me, was when he showed me how to keep the posture proper, okay? Now, he brought it was kind of foreign to me, because I used to have my knees wide, because I thought, okay, the wider my legs, the better my base. But when you think about it, If you're looking at those, we talk about those 3 points of base, okay? They have to be relative to what's going on too, okay? Now in the closed guard, all right, if she wants to break my posture, she's pulling this direction, okay? So obviously there's a lot we talked about in another video, how to keep the posture by utilizing your spine properly. That's for a different video. But let's just talk about the points of base. She wants me to go that direction, right? Now, am I a little bit more tippable this way or that way or back this way? Yes. If you look at my weight and where my weight is among those 3 points, if you were going to push me over, it'd probably be that direction, that angle, or this angle, okay? But in order for her to successfully do that, she has to do one of two things. She's going to have to sit up into me, and then eventually, what is she going to have to do? She's going to have to open up the guard, okay? If you want to take me that way, what are you going to do? Now things change. So if she wants to bridge me back that way, and she opens the guard, guard's open. Now it's different, okay? Now let's go back. So where am I most vulnerable in the closed guard? It's when she pulls me that direction. So I have my structure, but right here's my points of base. If I come up over top like this, now I'm gonna be in trouble. Now if she wants to take me this way or this way, what does she have to do? What do you have to do? Take me this way. How are you gonna take me this way?
I have to sit up first.
Yes, and then what? You have to open. Now things change. So once they open, now we change. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So when you're breaking that guard, you don't want to go forward towards them, okay? You want to move this direction. Here, grab the belt, knee in the middle. Move your hips, arch your back. Put some stress, and then break the guard. I can see, sorry, am I in your way? You're better at reading.
Yeah.
Alan, Michael,
Allison
good morning.
said she gets confused which leg goes first.
The first leg is the outside leg. Whichever way you're moving, move that knee first. Make sure you're centered among your base. And again, if they open the guard at any point, well, now things change. We have to understand, one of the questions that Dustin had was, when you break the guard open, what pass do you do then? Well, at that point, whatever pass is open to me. Okay, if I want to go for a stack pass, which I normally do, that's my first go-to, I'll come underneath the leg. But if something else opens itself up, I'm going to go for that. I want to choose the path of least resistance. You have to understand that and one of the reasons he asked was because he doesn't like standing, and I don't blame you. I don't like standing any more than you do. I don't want to have to stand if I don't want to. Okay, what I want to do, if I'm passing the guard, I want to be chest to chest with her. Why would I want to go further away? The only reason I would stand is if it was very difficult to open the guard. Most of the time it's not. 99% of the time I rarely have to stand up. Okay, but I'm also a taller, bigger guy, just like yourself. So, yeah, I think you have to look at guard passing in two areas. Number one is the guard break, and then the guard pass. There is no closed guard pass. You have to have a successful breaking of the guard, whether they open it or you do. Then everything else at that point is an open guard pass. So I hope that makes sense.
If I open guard to hip bump, do you immediately widen your knees and your base?
If she opens guard to hip bump, I don't necessarily widen my knees. I fight the hips with my hips. We kind of talked about this in one of the last video that we did for our students. When they sit up, when they put, all right, so I don't want this to happen already. I want to block this before she gets this far. But the second she opens her hips, if she drops that foot down and she pinches here and she starts to bring hips over to too late, I'm going. And I'm very weak in that position. But if I time it right and she opens the guard, and I fight the hips with the hips. I don't push her back down. You're already starting to fall. Now I hold the leg down. Put me in the guard. Yeah, no, not going to happen. Now I can pass, okay? With our arms, I push. So she's going to pull me in. And she has the advantage. So for the person on the bottom, rocking the boat is a very important principle. And we don't want that to happen. We want to keep our structure on our base. And again, fight the hips with the hips. Okay? With the legs and the hips.
Okay.
You guys get what
Robert wants to know, self-defense question, do you use a punch block series from the guard that's different than the Gracie combatives?
So yes and no. Okay, so the Gracie combatives is a very, very basic, and when I say basic, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's fantastic. It's a really good program. There are certain things that Helson does that I like better, but again, those guys, I mean, Heron and Hin are amazing, and they're really, really good teachers. And so there are some things that we do that aren't in the combatives, but I guarantee you they know them as well. It just might be a little bit more in the more advanced realm. So they may be covering those things in more of their master cycle classes when they do the punch block stuff. And we do as well. I mean, the first thing that we teach our students is how to defend against the most common types of attacks in the street, most common types of aggression. That's where Jiu-Jitsu really shines. But eventually, you have to also learn how to deal with strikes against a skilled opponent. Okay, so that's a very, very different skill, and things become a little bit different when the guys they know what you're doing and they're trying to shut that down. So there are some things that we do that are slightly different from the guard than the actual combatives that DVD set, but they're very minor. Most of the things are very simple. So are very similar. Again, I learned most of that self-defense stuff from Helson Gracie. I've never seen anybody, and I've been around, and I've trained with a lot. I've never seen anybody with Helson's defensive capability in the guard. His knowledge there is, I've never seen anybody touch his face. And I know, people talk about legends or whatever. The guy's amazing, and he taught me a lot of amazing stuff, and I'm thankful that I had that opportunity. And you talk to guys that trained with him back in the day. I mean, they'll corroborate the story. So,
Alex wants to know best way to defend the Kimura when the opponent has you north-south.
North-south. Oh man. So can you do it? We kind of went over this not too long ago, where you kind of walk around. It was the walk around arm, kind of where you walk around the arm lock. Okay. Yes. So there's a couple different. Who asked the question? Alex. Okay. Yes. I'm going to try to walk Mrs. Giesler through it here. So if she goes here like this, and she blocks my hip with her right hand, and she starts to circle, okay, and she starts to drive. This is the most common thing. I want to keep my arms on the inside if I can. But if she scoops the left arm underneath my elbow and starts to drive like that, there you go. Now keep walking even further. Now drive me up on my side. This is where we start to get in trouble. Let's circle this way. Okay? This is where we start to get in trouble, when they're able to push us more on our side. Okay? Now she's got good pressure here. She's going to take this hand. She's going to grab here. She's going to reach through, that's it. Now as she steps up over top here, this starts to get worse. So we're going in stages. Stage one is she gets this control. The next stage is this, when she pinches my body here like this. So you can squeeze your knees together here like this. Now she's going to take the arm up and away. Boom, up and then back. Okay? So that's all bad news. I hope you guys can hear what I'm saying when I'm getting Kimura here. The very first thing is not getting the arm pushed across, okay? Now, I may save that for a different video, but that's the first thing in north-south, not getting yourself pushed up like this. Okay, I want to stay flat in that position until I can get my body and my legs back in the game. But let's say we get to this stage where we know we're going to be defending an arm attack. It could be Kimura, it could be arm lock. She gets the figure four, okay? This is bad news, okay? So you're going to grab here, grab your wrist. There you go, that's it, okay? Now, the next thing is blocking this leg over the head. If I can keep this leg from coming over the head, that's awesome. But let's say this is bad news. The last ditch thing that I have here, I want to hold on to this. She wants to break the grip, so I'm going to hold it in tight. When she goes up to break the grip, I bring this knee on the inside of the arm, and I push, and I shrink my arm back inside. Okay? So when they start to raise that up, it's going to give me space to bring the knee inside. So let's watch that again. We'll do it without the leg over the head, just so you guys get the idea. So grab my wrist here, grab your wrist. Yes, good. Now, she wants to break this grip. I'm holding on for dear life. I may even be inside here like this, but I like this better, or just use if this arm is available. Sometimes it's going to be trapped. So when she starts to lift it up, it gives me space to bring this knee inside and push the elbow off, or I can shrink my arm back inside. So give that a try. Hope that helps. Oh.
Okay. Hi, Natalie. Andrew wants to know what the best way to continue safely training as a one-stripe white belt at home with his wife with zero experience.
Andrew, thank you so much for actually, this is another question I got from one of our students just yesterday, and I videotaped a session where I'm going to talk about that. I'll put it up on YouTube later. her and I were training with each other. Was it yesterday? The day before?
Day before.
We trained yesterday as well. We've been training a little bit every day, or at least now the craziness has kind of settled down, finding a new routine. And we had a good 15-minute roll that I videotaped. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be following us everywhere, but I just set the camera up right there and we just rolled. It was a really good roll. I caught her, she caught me. And I'm going to try to explain that as best as possible as I play that video. So it's not easy, right? Especially at the lower levels. I have a lot of experience, so I've done this a lot. But there's definitely some things that you can do, or that I can kind of express to you to do to be as good a training partner as possible. Because you obviously, you're excited about it. You still want to train. The main thing is just being safe and realizing that winning, like tapping your partner, your wife, whatever, is not the objective. As you'll probably already know, how do I develop the skill set for her as well as for me? I think number one is if you know something already that they don't know, one of the best ways to stay sharp is to share it. So even when I first started, I only had like one class a week I could go to. I had some videotapes of like the UFCs and stuff, but there wasn't any instructionals. There wasn't no YouTube or anything like that. So everything I learned, I would go home and I'm like, man, oh my God. And I lived with my brother at the time, so I taught everything to him. And of course, he starts beating me up with it because he was a better athlete. But that's all I had, but it helped me remember. So the one thing I did was I took notes. I wrote it down, and then I went home and I would teach it to him, and then we would train. And that was, I was lucky to have somebody to train with. So if your wife is open and willing to train, that's number one. That's amazing. Keep fostering that. Keep helping her out. Learn together. But I'll explain a little bit of that in that video because I want to, it's about 15-minute long video, so I'll throw as much knowledge out there as possible with that. So stay tuned for that.
I don't see any other. I think we got all the questions that were asked so far.
That's good. All right.
There we go. Tip or best way to learn from video instructionals?
Subscribe to my channel. I'm kidding. Alex, I think there's so much out there. That's the hard part is trying to figure out where to go, because on YouTube there's just a million different things out there, and a lot of it depends on your level. I can watch a lot of videos, but it's what I'm going to watch and what's helpful for me is probably not what's helpful for her. So I would say at the lower levels, white belt especially, try to find as basic a knowledge as possible. I go back to the combatives are very, very good. They're very well done. They really helped us, the structure that they implemented and really helped us as far as how we structured our classes at the academy. So I think you can go down the rabbit hole and just find all sorts of craziness on the internet, and most of it, honestly, this is why a lot of professors will tell you don't go to YouTube. Well, now you don't have a choice, right? It is what it is. So if your instructor is not feeding you knowledge, feeding you videos at this point, it's not coming across. So it's the reason that they say don't do that is because there's just so much information it becomes confusing. And everybody has a different way of doing this or that. And I can cut through it because I've had a lot of experience. But it's going to be difficult as the beginner. Well, this guy said to do this. Well, that may be the truth for him. But for us, we always start with very, very basic things. And that's one of the things that's good about having a fundamentals curriculum and a structure is that at the beginning, you don't know what you don't know, right? You just have to be told, like, do this. Eventually, you're going to find out what works for your body type, what works for modifications that need to be done, whether you have an injury or physical limitation. And as you get better, as you start to get up to blue belt, purple belt, now you start to know what your body's capable of, and you start to develop a style. And then you can start to be able to navigate that craziness that is the internet. So I would stay as basic as possible. Again, I really do think the what is
Combatives?
it? Combatives, yes. The Gracie Combatives is a very, very good tool because it's very straightforward and simple, right? Follows a linear path, just boom, do this, do this, do this. And I think at the beginning that's a very positive thing. So whether you find an instructional out there that works like that, that's my suggestion. Try to find an instructional that works like that. Very, very, straightforward pattern. Like, here's what you do from the mount. Do this, do this, do this, right? So, yeah.
Here's the rooster.
Yeah, if you hear a rooster in the background, he's a little bit noisy. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Alex.
Alex. You rock too. Michael Noyce. What's funny, Michael?
I think your comment about subscribing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, how we doing on time here?
We are at
Anybody got any other questions?
20 minutes.
All right. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else that we can help you with today, I think we'll end it there. I think that's good. I think 20, 30 minutes is probably good. We're going to continue putting out videos, hopefully on a daily basis, at least for our students. We've got what I don't know what you call it, the portal or whatever. Spark University. So we're going to continue keep doing that. Some, I've got some voiceover stuff I'm doing, some of the fundamentals classes, and yeah, I may sit down later and commentate some of my students' matches, maybe even mine. You never know. But yeah, we're just trying to get creative as possible and keep putting out as much information as we can for you all. And yeah, just stay tuned and stay healthy and keep training, do as best you can, and yeah, that's it. That's all we got, I think. You got anything?
Not right now.
Okay.
There's a few more questions on there now, but
Oh, all right.
What is it later? Natalie was asking about passing guard. You have a knee in the middle, and I'm not sure where she was going with that. We miss you too, Kent.
What's up,
modified cross collar second hand placement. Is that something you can quickly?
Modified cross collar choke second hand placement. Okay, so a lot of it's going to depend. Am I mounted or am I in the guard? Sometimes it changes. So real quick, we'll do it from this position because this is different. Let's say that I was in the guard. Let's turn this way. If we can get as close to the camera as possible here. I'm not sure what this is. Just stay there. I think that's good. Keep scooting, keep scooting, keep scooting. I gotta see where, we got a little bit of a lag here, so I'm just hoping everybody can see past the hair here. So as long as my first hand is deep, this is the dominant hand here. So because when the four fingers are in and I'm past the tag here, when I go to turn my wrist, I'm able to take away a lot of space just by doing that. If I have a good if I have a good connection in the collar, just by nature of being able to do that, that's a strong movement, and it sinks the wrist down into the neck, okay? Just like this. So what I want to do in the guard, I prefer personally, if you see this fold in the gi, I prefer this, okay? The most important part of the modified collar choke here is that when you go to loop around the neck, you don't bend your wrist like this. Because look, my grip becomes weak. My grip. So when I come across, I need to move my body enough. Hi, Zaya. Sorry, we got an invader. All right? I need to move my body enough to where I can come in front of without compromising that grip, the strength of that grip. A lot of people like the thumb in. It's great. It doesn't matter. Whichever one is, I prefer this, but this is perfectly fine. If you have even this, okay, as long as this hand is deep enough, all right, this one doesn't have to be super deep. Then you can rotate and come here. And then you can take away the space by the rest of your motion here by rotating this up, pulling your elbows to your side and finishing there. So, I hope that helps. It's a little bit more difficult when you're in the mount position. Let's have you lay down for me, please. This way. Scooting, there we go. Okay. Because I can only reach so far because of the floor. Okay, and I don't want this grip to be too weak either. So when I decide, and there's a lot of ways to set it up. This is not exactly how I would set it up, but thumb in, make the grip, and you can come in front and then move your body back over top. But as long as this first hand is deep as you can get it, it's yeah. The rest is either thumb in or just grab a hold of that material. So hope that helps. we'll go ahead and call it a day. But thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon. We'll do another wheeze. We'll do another wheeze. We'll do another one of these very soon. So stay tuned. Can you hit stop?